Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Round Table Unedited. I'm Raph,
I'm Ipsha.
and today we're just chatting. I think we're going to be chatting about Uber stories mostly.
Horror Uber stories.
Horror Uber stories. Oh man,
Horror
mine.
Uber stories.
Wait, is that what you said?
Yeah, horror Uber stories.
Oh, okay. Because yeah, no, mine are just funny. Like, yeah,
Oh, yeah,
it's
funny,
kind of out there, but
scary.
it's okay. It's like, what happened to you, girl? What went down?
Well, I have funny stories, but I have
Mm.
I've heard of a story, not my personal story, but that I would share later. But yeah, welcome to Murder at the Round Table Unedited, half an hour us just talking about Uber rides.
And hey, if you have been
Your
listening to the videos and
audios.
all, oh yeah, I said videos. Whoops. Yeah, no, our faces are not revealed yet. If you've been listening to the audios, then this should be easy peasy. You know,
Mhm.
just chill.
Yeah, just chill. Did you want to go first with your story?
I guess you know what I will because it's more fresh. It
Hmm.
happened today, in fact.
Today.
Yeah. So get this. All right. I
Hmm.
am going to a dance class because
Hmm.
we dance here. We have hobbies, and I get into the Uber, and the guy starts off by saying, "Do you recognize me?" And I'm just like, Uh, fudge. No. Well, I looked at him because I had been in this car before, but at that time he had glasses, like he wasn't, like I'd taken an Uber with him before. Um, so I was like, okay, yeah, I kind of remember who this guy is. I was like, yeah, I remember you. He's like, I remember you too. So then he starts talking to me about the fact that I never texted him, because he gave me his number last time because he wanted to hook me up with this girl that he knows from church. And I'm just like, nah, not interested. I didn't really, you know, want to. I didn't know who this person was. And, I just wanted to stay on my own and date, not date. Anyways, is what I'm trying to say. My God, I am like fumbling through this. But, anyways, so for the next 25 minutes, our
Hmm.
conversation is split between the first chunk talking about, oh, I should have texted him, and that it is fate and God has brought us together again.
I don't
Um,
think so, but I'll talk about that later.
that's the first part. No, was us talking about that. The second part was him hyping up his friend. He was hyping her up so much that at one point in the car, I was just like, dude, you know, are you dating anyone? He says no. And I'm like, okay, but so why don't you date her? You know? Like it's not like that whole idea of like, oh, guys and girls can't be friends or whatever, but it's
Right.
just the way he was talking about her. I'm just like, whoa, she sounds pretty amazing. And you're telling me to lock down, but you haven't locked down. So what's happening here exactly?
Hmm.
You know? Um, so then there's that. Then he tells me that, she's 10 years older. And then he starts talking about the French president, and he starts talking about how this guy is dating a woman. Sorry, no, he's married. He's married to a woman who
Hmm.
is 20 years older than him. And he's talking about how, oh, she pushed him into the presidency, and you need a girl who does that for you, who pushes you in that way. And then that's when he transitioned over to like, you need to find a girl who's like your mom, you know, like men look for women that are like their mothers who like support them and look after them and give them advice, because you can't talk to your homies about certain things, and even if you have girl friends, you can't talk to them about it. So
What does he know?
yeah. So I'm listening to this guy, and I'm like, again, I'm like, hey, I'm just doing me right now. Um, I'm taking my time. Love will come when it comes. And then he's like, but men should, you should have a girlfriend. You should be dating. You should like have a wife and all of that. Somebody who's like God-fearing. So I'm looking at this dude. I'm like, okay, are you married? Are you dating anybody? And he's like, no. I'm like, then what is this? Why are we having this discussion in the Uber ride? Now, I didn't say all of that because hey, I'm not good at conflict sometimes. But I just brought it up, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, actually, I was dating somebody, and she dumped me." I'm like, "Oh, well, that's interesting. I wonder why." But hey, why did she? What happened? And he's like, "Oh, it was like it's because of like mental health reasons. It just couldn't like work anymore." But she still says like I'm the best guy she's ever known. Just like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay, dude. And you know what? I don't know this girl. So maybe that is something that she says to him. Maybe he is the best guy that she's ever known. Well, all I know is I got in this car. This man made a lot of assumptions about me, and then he tried to hook me up with a friend of his that apparently he considers a sister, hence the reason why he's not trying to date her, right? He considers her a sister, and I am a stranger. And I'm just like, my guy, I don't understand you. Anyways, so yeah, we get to the studio. I get out of the car. He's still talking about fate and all of that, and I'm just like, peace out. It was nice to see you again. And yeah, yeah,
That was it.
that was it. That
I
was
feel
weird.
like Freud just crawled out of the grave, maybe got some plastic surgery done, decided, like, you know what, I need a career, decided
hmm
Uber driving's great, and here we are.
You know, if I'm being fair to this guy, this is not like an uncommon concept. Irrespective of how like bad it is, that there's a lot of guys out there who are looking for basically their mother, you know, but as a partner, and it's
Hmm.
weird, and you should kind of be looking for an equal and all of that, but
I
it's
don't know. I mean, there's this thing that's been going around. And they say like you should listen and not judge, but um,
this
I
is a
I
safe space. Judge all you want.
right, right. But I don't think it's just like people are looking for like someone like their parent. I think they're looking for someone who gives that sense of safety
hmm
and maybe that home vibe, like a parent does. Um, if that makes
I
sense.
Yes, but I have an interesting follow up to that. You know how you will always end up dating the wrong person?
Oh
Like
yeah.
you'll always end up dating somebody who's really bad for you.
Oh yeah.
So I'm trying to remember if it was in a Dr. K video, uh, or what video I saw it in, but someone was explaining the idea of like you are attracted to what's comfortable, and what's comfortable even if it hurts you, even if it's something that is sorry, comfortable and familiar.
Hmm.
It's kind of like the idea of like the devil that I know versus the one that I don't.
Yeah.
So if you grew up with like neglectful parents, for example, right?
Hmm.
You might end up finding yourself gravitating towards a person, and you don't know, oh, what's pulling me towards them? And you're just like, you don't know that the reason that's what's pulling you is that same relationship you had with your parents is manifesting itself again. So you're going after another person who's going to be neglectful to you,
Hmm.
but that's what you
100%.
know, right?
Exactly.
And it's such a trap. And after I got introduced to that, then I started thinking about my dating life, and I'm like, oh my God, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
You know, not saying necessarily that the neglectful aspect is what
Hmm.
I relate to, but there were a
It's
lot of uh, things that the people I've dated have presented that made relationships with them very difficult.
yeah,
And when I think back to my childhood, I think, okay, these are some things that I struggled with, and now it's kind of manifesting in this way.
right.
Yeah, but
Yeah. So yeah, like those things I guess in a way relate to like parents, but they're not like going directly like this is like my mom or a partner has to be like my mom or
yeah,
my dad.
yeah.
Yeah. Um I totally forgot what I was going to say. Oh, so do you think this guy was like camping out, like Ubering around your area and hoping that one day you're going to like get an Uber and he can be like, "Oh yeah, I remember this guy. I remember this place."
uh, that's scary.
Because he remembers you.
Yeah, yeah, which is interesting. I guess some memorable, but like,
You are.
thanks. I'm just going to assume that it's just random luck because it's not like the first time I've ever taken an Uber and it's like the same
Hmm.
driver, which is why I'm always nice. Always be nice as much as
Hmm.
you can whenever possible because you never know when you're seeing this person again or even how.
Well,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, it's weird, like, that that this person is trying to set someone, whatever their relationship is, with a complete stranger.
Hmm.
Because I was thinking, like, what if it's like a form of control that setting this girl up with someone that he knows, not a stranger, but that he knows,
Hmm.
is a way of controlling this girl. But yeah, it's a little bit weird that he's trying to set her up with a complete stranger, like someone he doesn't know at all. And like I
Yeah.
was gonna ask too, like has he you said he talked about her the first time as well?
Yeah, but at uh, but at that point it was very like vague. It was just
Hmm.
like, oh, there's a lot of women who come to my church and here's my number, text me and hey, maybe I can hook you up with one of them. I get annoyed a lot of times when people try to matchmake when they don't know you. It's
Hmm.
like, oh, you're a guy? Here's an available girl. Boom, become one. Just it just happens. And I've had this with my family too.
Right.
You know, we're done talking about this, and I'm just like, and this is all it is. And you know what the funny thing is? It is always family members who don't know you well,
Hmm.
like super distant aunts and uncles and grandparents that are just like, oh, you should link up with this person. And I'm just like, okay, do you even know what I like? And
Hmm.
not just like in a person, but just in general. What are the things that I'm passionate about? What is my temperance? We don't talk that much.
Right.
It's just we're both single and
Hmm.
we're of the marrying age. And yeah, there's a lot of people getting married but you know what? We are at that stage in our life. So like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just rambling. Oh my God.
I feel like either this person is like at a point where they want to like be like a matchmaker and play matchmaker, or
Hmm.
there's something really weird going on at their church.
It's not the first time that I've gone into a cult church by accident, you
What's
know.
the church? Actually, don't answer this live.
No, I'm
Message
not.
it
I'm
to
not
me.
gonna answer it. I'll let you know later. All I know is just I went to a Bible study and then I ended up in a church that was basically a cult. So
It happens.
hmm,
Um, but
a
yeah,
story for
I
another day.
that's a story for another day. It does happen a lot.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I think I wonder if there's like a way for you to contact Uber and being like, because there's a lot of weird shit happening with Uber nowadays. So, um,
Yeah.
be careful out there.
There's a lot of people taking up Uber jobs right now, which, makes sense. I think there's a way where I can say I don't want to have this driver anymore.
I think so
Uh,
too.
I'll have to look
I
into
wish
that.
there was like a opposite of that. Like, I want this driver again.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, is
You
there?
you can't say like you necessarily want them again, but you can favorite them.
Oh,
So there's a higher likelihood that they'll end up being your driver if they're in the area.
okay.
Yeah.
Because there has been like Uber drivers that were great.
hmm
Um, Great whether we had good conversation, or whatever it may be, or no conversation, and they just got me where I needed to be. But yeah, I wanted. I didn't know that you could do that, but yeah, I wish I knew about it then. Then I would have like favored it.
Yeah. I only started seeing it like in the last year.
Okay, it might be a new feature then. My weirdest Uber. I don't take a lot of Ubers, and the few times I have, it was
hmm
from work to home or from your place to my place. But I think
hmm
this was from work to home. And I kind of generally know the route that Uber drivers takes from my workplace to my home. And for those of you who don't know Uber or like never taken an Uber before, they actually have a fixed kind of like a route that they have to drive. Um, they have to like follow the map. If they go, let's say they don't take a turn that the map is suggesting, there's alert that pops up on their screen, and they have to answer why they didn't take that turn. I've seen this happen. Raph looks confused, but I've seen this happen, and I've also talked to an Uber driver about it, and
hmm
he kind of clarified how the system works.
hmm
So let's say the car is going at a route and it says turn left at the next light, or it shows that they should be turning left at the next light. And let's say there's a road blockage, or maybe that road is closed for construction, and they go keep going straight or take a different turn. There's going to be an alert on the screen saying like you missed the turn. Why did you do it? Is there something wrong? And they kind of just like click it or just confirm it or whatever. I've seen them do it. There was this one driver. I started, I got on, I gave the information that they needed,
hmm
like the code. I got on. He wasn't talking much, so I just sat down and listened to music. And usually in Uber cars, I usually put only one earbud in.
Yep.
And I'm occasionally like looking out the window and stuff. And at some point, I realized that he did not take a turn where the other Uber drivers normally take a turn. So I'm like, okay, no worries. There's another turn coming up that is taken by Uber
hmm
drivers as well. And I realized that he didn't take that one either. And he didn't take the next few turns as well. He didn't take them. And I realized like he's not responding to the notifications that are popping up on his phone about missing those turns. So I started to get a little bit nervous. I was
hmm
like, what is happening? I didn't say anything because I really didn't know what to say. And it didn't seem like I was trying to actually like gauge what the driver was trying to like do. Like, was he confident? Did he not want to turn because the road is busy? But all the turns that he decided to skip were like clear roads. There was no blockage or traffic. They were good for use,
hmm
but the GPS on his phone kept on refreshing to the new route that he's decided to take. He did drop me off home. I was just getting nervous to like why he, you know, wasn't um, going the route that Uber gave him.
Yeah.
So that was the only time I got nervous in an Uber. Other than that, I've had a lot of drivers, had great conversation, but yeah,
I'd say like if that ever happens again, you can also,
call a friend.
or even you can share your trip
Oh
with a
yeah.
friend.
Yeah, I think I shared my trip with somebody. I think it might have been someone at work,
Mm-hmm.
but I did share my location. And I was considering calling a friend at that point, but I realized he did end up taking a route that was normally not a route that I've other Uber drivers have taken. But
Mm-hmm.
I got home. He just decided to take a more scenic route, I guess.
Okay, I got you.
But the story I wanted to share is actually from, I think, Nova Scotia. And
Mm-hmm.
trigger warnings to anybody who may not be feeling comfortable with the topic of Uber rides and, scary stories surrounding Uber rides. So this is your kind of like where you decide if you want to continue listening. But, anyways, the story I think is called The Glove Man. And basically, it's about like young men who usually get a Uber right late at night, whether they're going from the bar to back to the place or going from from their friend's house back to their whatever apartments or what. And during the ride, the driver tells them about like their side hustle, their side business, um, and it's about gloves.
Okay.
Yeah, and I forget the entire story. I listened to this on a podcast. I think at some point the driver actually asks the passenger to try on the glove and is very persistent about it. You don't even know what's coming.
Okay, I'm gonna put a guess out there. Inside the glove is laced with something that reacts to your skin and like paralyzes you or makes you fall asleep.
Incorrect. So
Oh, damn. I was so confident with that.
so he's very persistent, being like, "Hey, you should try it on. It's my business." Blah blah blah. So the passenger tries on the glove, and they realize that the glove is little too small. So they're struggling to put it on. But even if the passenger's like, "No, no, like it's it's not gonna fit," the driver's like, "No, keep trying. It's gonna fit." And the thing is, every single passenger that this driver has picked up has always got a glove too small.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if, like, when the passenger comes into the car, if the driver had asked about like their hand size or anything, which they found awkward, but was like conversations that the passengers found a little bit awkward. So, coming to the point, the passenger's trying to get the glove, and right before like they get out or they're like fed up with this entire thing, they start to hear moans from the driver.
Okay.
And obviously, these are young men, so they kind of picked up what's happening and they immediately take off the glove and leave the Uber if they can.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, the people that has have reported to the police about this guy, telling them to put on the glove and then they start moaning, um, has never got like all the ones that has reported this. They said that like it stopped right there. It has never like gone to the point where something really inappropriate happened.
Mm.
But yeah, actually, this is not a Uber driver. They pretty much camp out at like locations where young people may require rides,
Mm-hmm.
and they actually come in right before the Uber does or something like that. But I think they at one point worked for Uber. They don't now. I have heard this story like long time ago, but since the topic of Ubers came up, I thought I would share. But yeah, it's called The Glove Man. So many people have reported this guy, and they've all said like it didn't get to the point where things were very inappropriate, but we've realized that there were moans coming, and then we stopped and left. Yeah, and the scary part is like these people know where you live.
Oh my
Raph's
gosh.
searching him up.
Yeah. There's oh wow. There is a long, long, long ass story in Reddit on this guy.
I think like there's someone who does research actually started the Reddit group to hear stories.
One of my roommates told me this guy. Yeah, well known in the Halifax gay scene. Oh boy.
Hmm.
So it kind of makes you wonder, where has that glove been?
I don't quite remember, but I'm wondering if he had multiple gloves, because obviously um, everyone has different size of hands.
But it
But
was always too small, right?
it's always too small.
You know what? Okay, I'll just put it out there. All right. If people, okay, people can have fetishes over anything. All right. Um, if people can have underwear fetishes, maybe there are people out there who have glove fetishes.
It's the problem isn't that
But
the glove.
it's the whole public aspect
Yeah,
and the
there's
consent associated to
places
that. Yeah.
in Canada, there are places where you can act on these fetishes. Consent given, go as all as you want.
Hmm.
They will, there's people, there's services, they'll happily provide you what you need. It's the aspect of like, you know, finding, like literally hunting someone down,
Hmm.
and almost victimizing it. It was weird for a lot of people when they heard this story to accept it because the victims were men. It is right that it is part of the gay community, but a lot of these men that were victimized were straight, and it was very weird for them. But they
Hmm.
were able to catch on really quickly what was happening and were immediately able to stop him or stop what was going on.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically that. I forget what I was gonna say.
You're but you're moaning while you're driving? Dude, focus on the road. I don't want to die here. Like,
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah, yeah. So like, yeah, there are services that will provide you. Like, don't don't go searching for someone that hasn't given you consent or is like partially like half of these people aren't even sober,
Yeah.
guaranteed.
But
It's
see,
late at night. They want to get
that's
home.
that's the big problem.
Hmm.
That's part of the turn on in
Oh
these
yeah.
cases, right? It's the fact that the person doesn't know what's happening too, and it's messed up. But yeah, glove man. I wonder how I would have reacted in that situation. I might have just told Mans to just pull over, just leave me here, side of the road, side of the highway. I don't care. I have two legs. I can walk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Scary stuff. So we are almost close to time.
Hmm.
Raf, do you have anything else to share?
I have. Hmm, I have another Uber story, but we'll leave that one for another time. I think it is kind of
Okay.
long. Yeah.
All right.
So
If you want
if
Uber stories part two, let us know.
give us a heads up, you know.
Give us a heads up.
Um, yeah, well, I guess in that case then we'll call it here. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, stay safe out there. If you're on an Uber, just get on a call on with your friend.
Yeah. So actually, this was the something I was going to follow up on. If you don't feel comfortable getting on a call, Uber has a lot of functions that you can use. You
Hmm.
can either share your trip with somebody else. It's part of the reason why I share my Snap map with selected people constantly because I want somebody to know where our last was. But it's the same thing with Uber. You can share your ride. You can also, under the safety features, I've started seeing it more offered more often, where if someone skips a turn, it'll actually prompt me on my phone to be like, "Hey, we saw that you missed this. Are you okay? Is everything fine?" And you can text Uber confidentially while you're also in the car and let them know. on what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, those are all great. Honestly, if you're comfortable calling a friend, call a friend. I remember in university, there's this
Mm-hmm.
girl, she'd always be talking to someone,
Mm-hmm.
call someone. Yeah, and I think if you can FaceTime them, that's even better because now they have at least you an image of you or a video of you, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
of you in a car, and if anything happens, they can give a description of what they saw in the car, of your surroundings, whether you decide to like flip the camera or not. But yeah, stay safe out there.
Oh, actually, that's a pretty good idea. You can also you get on a FaceTime call, you
Hmm.
switch the camera around,
Hmm.
right? You turn it like instead of it becomes like the back camera, but you're still
Hmm.
pretending like you're talking on FaceTime, so your friend can see who the guy is or girl or whoever who's in the car with you.
Yeah. Um, just anything. It doesn't even have to be the driver. It could be details of the car, what you can see from inside. All are great things.
Hmm.
So yeah, maybe like if you have like a designated friend, um, have a designated friend when you are on an Uber, and
Yeah.
they're the go-to person for whenever you need to take a Uber.
Hmm. Or yeah, and honestly, if you can set up like a phrase or something with that friend, drill it into their head. Hey, if I ever call you and I'm just talking about some frickin' peaches out of nowhere, we never talk about peaches, you know I'm in trouble, you know?
Yeah, help is
Um,
immediately needed.
yeah.
GPS trackers. I used to have an Apple phone. I don't have Apple phones, but you can drop your location. I'm sure like Samsung and other phones do this too, where you can drop your location.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
drop that location with that friend. Talk about peaches. Talk about something that you normally don't.
Hmm.
And if you start talking about it, they know to call police or get help immediately. Okie dokie. That was some great advice. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for sharing your Uber story, Raph.
Thank you for sharing yours. I'll be
Yeah.
honest, I got really scared when you started talking. I was like, "Oh my God, what happened?"
Oh,
Um,
like
um,
when at the beginning when I said
yeah.
horror stories. Yeah, I was
Well, no, no,
yeah.
no, not just at the beginning. I mean, like when you started your story,
Oh, like the glove
and
man?
no, not
Or
the
my
glove
story.
man. Yeah, your
Okay.
personal one. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. No, you would have known.
yeah. I
I
was
would
like,
have
I
been
haven't
like,
heard about this. Is this like this is a trauma session? We're just like opening up stuff we've never talked about. Which, by the way, I've had a few of those recently,
yeah,
where people just open up about stuff that they never talked about like ever,
ever. Yeah.
and it's like, whoa,
Who are you?
I don't know who this person is. There's a lot of things that people go through in secret. But anyways, okay. No, we've said like bye like two times. We should like officially close out.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Alrighty, bye. Talk to y'all later.
Have a great rest of your day or night. It's night for us, so good nighty.
Good nighty.